lot of work.
All right, let's call this meeting to order. It is October 10th, 2018, approximately 12:09. Let's go ahead and say the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Can we have roll call, staff, please?
I'm sorry. All right. Adrian G. Trevino. I'm here. George Narvaez. Victor A. Tijerina. Jose Angel Lopez.
Present.
Rodolfo Rodriguez.
Present.
Elizabeth Alonso Villarreal.
Present.
Ed Bueno.
Here.
Jose D. Gonzalez. Hector Cortez.
Present.
All right, we have a forum.
Thank you. Next item 4, approval of minutes for August 8, 2018, regular meeting. Some of the staff has attached a copy of the minutes. I started looking through it. Everything looks like it's in order. Any questions or comments by the committee? Motion on the floor. Motion by Ms. Villarreal. Second by Mr. Cortez. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Approval of the minutes passes. Okay, and now we have staff reports.
Mr. Chairman, I just want to let you know that Mr. Mario Maldonado and Elsie Borges are traveling right now. They went to Savannah, Georgia to meet with Allegiant. And that was the annual conference for Allegiant.
Okay.
And luckily they got out of Georgia.
Just in time. I know, I was gonna say,
So probably they're in DFW right now because I was told they're gonna get here around 3:30, 4 o'clock. So that was a good thing. So that's why we're here. Jacqueline Benavides and Ashley and myself, we're gonna be in charge of that.
Okay.
Meeting.
All right.
The next item on the meeting on the agenda is the staff report, and Ms. Benavides is going to present that.
So for your passenger activity report, we have American Airlines enplanement dropped 3.6% and the deplanements dropped 2.82%. For United, your enplanements increased 9.63%. Your deplanements increased 14.76%. This was the only airline that actually showed improvement. Allegiant dropped. The enplanements are 32.71% and the deplanements dropped 31.7%. The overall scheduled airline enplanements and deplanements actually decreased. Negative 6.71% for enplanements and negative 3.75%.
And is that, I guess, mainly because Allegiant, the prior year's numbers included the flights to Florida, right?
That is correct, yes.
To Disney.
Now, on the, on American, and I know we've talked about this before, that decrease, is it due because of the canceled flights? Because I've been on a couple of them that.
Me too, yes, I've been there and canceled and no late delays.
There's been cancellation. I mean, I don't fly very often. What have you been experiencing or what?
We'll talk to American,
It's
but
always the first flight, you try to get somewhere, on time, and if that flight doesn't go out, it messes everything up.
Is it issues
That's
that
the only
happen, do you think,
concern.
here or because out of DFW?
well, also remember the weather.
I know
Lately,
in times it's weather, I know
Weather-
some of
weather
the.
We had
related.
a lot of bad weather.
Some of the responses have been because of something with the plane, or I know the crew has to be rested for 8 hours, so if it came in late the night before, it's gonna be late, so that's,
Nice.
yeah, I know sometimes it's other factors, but then others have been because of mechanical
Mhm.
issues,
Right.
so I was just wondering if that's the decrease because of.
well, most of the
could have
time is a
been-
lot of people that they think, well, it's sunny here and hot, but in DFW, there's a thunderstorm or something.
Mhm.
And that's when we have those positions. I've been there, that we couldn't leave because in DFW was a thunderstorm, and the other way around too. I was at DFW and because of the weather was bad here, so.
There was 6 of us one time that just, and we all, they managed to put us somewhere else, but 2 of us arrived first, then the other 3, 2 were separate, and I mean, we were like in New York and, you know, different places just to go to
Yeah.
one, but, yeah, it causes
Well, I know
a,
that one of the attorneys was flying, her and her husband were flying out about 2 weeks ago on a Friday. They canceled that 4 o'clock flight out or whatever it
Mhm.
was, and they canceled the whole weekend, but that was weather. I mean, you have no
That was
control, and
weather,
that
yeah.
was in Dallas.
Yeah.
The bad weather was Dallas. Yeah, you have no control.
Yeah, it also happened that we were in the FW and the one flight attendant was missing because he was flying from Atlanta to DFW. The weather was bad in Atlanta, so he got late to DFW for 40 minutes, got into Terminal A. By the time he got to Terminal E, that was like an hour and a half. So we were sitting, and the pilot and everybody thought, we're waiting for the flight attendant because by rules and regulation, you have to have 2 flight attendants.
They gotta meet their ratio.
Yeah, and then we, of course, a lot of people volunteered to be the flight attendants, but hanging out here, and you know, that's no.
That's not gonna work.
That's not gonna work. So we waited for the flight attendant, but it was delayed because in Atlanta, that was
This trip that your bosses took to, with the Legion, what's the conference you said, right? It wasn't
Yeah,
national.
there was a Legion annual conference where everybody goes and talk to a Legion, and they want.
So you do get to interact with the executive.
Exactly, that's what.
Do you know if there was any talks about?
Probably
bring
will
back
have,
the
they will
forward
have
flight?
a staff report in the next,
Okay.
in the next meeting.
It was a little
The report of the
disappointing that the flight
Yeah.
was
Make
canceled.
a note that we need to inform the board that was the Legion.
start with how many,
Staff report, we'll make a staff report related to that trip.
Okay, I
Well,
guess
United did well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I
United is
knew.
doing very well.
Maybe I oughta
Well,
switch over to-
well, because actually, I was looking at some of their pricing, they have some really very, very
They do
favorable
have
pricing.
good
At times, I
prices.
mean, you can catch them at the right time, and boy, it's like, what? 300 something out of Laredo?
Yes,
It's like,
okay.
boom!
Yes.
And then the next day, it'll be back to 800, you know? But they do have these, you know, it's on and off
I just
days.
wonder if it's more
Their pricing
business.
is very competitive, I mean, it's very, very, yeah, it's a good deal. I mean, they have
I'll
really
start
good.
looking into it.
I was just suggesting, because if you travel, they do have, at times they pop up, and they're fairly expensive.
That's a good advice, I'll take it.
Yes.
The
We
next
have next.
report is the cargo activity report. In this one, there was also a drop in August of 5.54%.
And that is seasonal, excuse me, that is, Mr. Chairman, that is seasonal, that always happens during the summertime, and it's gonna go back into October, November, during the Christmas holidays, the carnival goes up, that's the thing like that all the time.
Yeah,
And you have your fuel flow activity reports. Oh, I'm sorry, no, the FBO figures. And that one, for the revenues for year-to-date, to close out the fiscal year, it was 190,696 with 9 cents. And the gallons, the percent change on that was 29%.
That was good.
And then you have your total monthly fuel flow fee figures, broken down by Laredo Aero Center, 504,909 for 60% of the fuel flow. Then Barker with 187,826 for 23%. IBOC was 1% with $6,606, and then Altair Aviation, 87,384 for 17%.
so they're all FBOs, including IBOC,
Yes.
but they only fuel themselves?
Right, I agree with you.
Okay.
The same thing that's the government with Air and Marine, with all the CBP helicopters,
Yeah.
they do it themselves.
Okay.
And then your final staff report here is the accounts receivable for delinquent reports. We begin with aerolíneas ejecutivas.
This has been climbing, right? I mean, I remember at one point y'all had it at 0, basically, I guess, and then.
How many months is, like, the 16,000, what does that equate to? How many months delinquent, or is that 1 month or 2 months, or?
That's a good question.
Are you looking at the car rentals list?
Davis?
Yes.
It's like 16,000.
That's.
Davis,
About
yeah.
3 to 4
Is it
thousand.
one? No, that's
It's 3,000 or 4,000 a month, that's probably, we're talking about 2-3 months.
They're never on this report, right?
I've never seen that, especially Avis.
We'll check into
How
that.
did he get so high
And then,
before?
maybe, Mr. Chairman, maybe for future, we can inform staff that when they bring the delinquent,
Mhm.
that the amounts are good, but
I mean,
add another
the
column,
months.
just maybe how many days
Okay.
it's late.
Yeah.
Just to get a better, because it might just
Yeah.
be 1 month and then, you know.
Yeah, it looks like a large amount, but it might equate to that one grant, right?
Yeah, we'll
That's good.
include another column, the number of months.
That's good, yes, thank you.
And also, we probably need to do the monthly rental. Okay. Per month.
And South Texas
Yeah.
Workforce, they're not a tenant? Who? It says not a tenant, South Texas Workforce.
Right, they're not.
So
How
then,
does
That was
that
left
work?
over from when they moved to their new facilities.
So they're not over here?
But it's rent due from when they were a tenant.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Okay.
They always let them
maybe
know.
put,
How many months is
left,
it?
left in bad standing or something, or just
Okay.
something, just.
End of term rent pending. or something.
Outstanding. Outstanding.
Left
Outstanding.
outstanding balance.
Outstanding
Yeah.
balance.
Yeah.
This Jeffrey Tamkin thing, that is not the rent, right? That's the ad valorem taxes. I know that when I was here, that typically took a long time to collect.
Right.
Are they, you know how there's that process, are they disputing it where they want to negotiate what they owe, or?
That, I don't know, we'll need to go back on
I
that.
think with them, there's other things happening as well. Elsie would be the one to
Mhm.
clarify
Yeah.
that, so at the next staff meeting, we'll
Maybe
make
if
sure
she
it
can
gets-
bring,
Yeah.
include in the staff report
We'll
something.
include a
Because I
separate report
recall
back
every
into it.
year, that would be the issue. We would send them what was due,
Okay.
and they would challenge it, and then we had to get a middle, like another appraisal report or
Yes,
something that we
exactly.
agreed on.
Yes,
So it'd be 6 months down the road, by the time we collected.
that's, yeah, exactly. That's what we're doing with the tanking. That's exactly right. They have their own appraisal, we have our own. Now we're getting a third one.
You'd think that the government entity's appraisal would stick, and they have that leverage on us where, well, I get to pick my own too.
All right.
Maybe in the future, I don't know. I know that contract's been around like for 75 years.
Used to be
Yeah.
reviewed.
Maybe it could be amended and that clause can be adjusted where the city has the upper hand on it.
Yeah,
At least for
we'll talk
collection
about that.
purposes, they should put a limit. We gotta, in 90 days, we gotta clear this.
Yes.
If not, it sticks or something.
Right,
Okay.
yeah.
Just
'Cause then you
food for
just
thought.
elongate it.
Because then it really blows up your report.
Yes, that one, the $240,000, yes.
Okay, so
Is
moving on, I
Robert-
don't know.
Aviation, looks like probably just 1 month rent. Didn't I read in the paper he passed away?
Mr. Wayne Barker, yes, but before he passed away, he transferred the company to Robert Landis and Mr. Taylor, Doug Taylor. And now they brought us all the paper and the new resolutions and everything. So Barker Automotive will continue functioning as an FEO and working, and now Robert Landis is the president.
Now, the rent is
Okay.
past due, but their fuel flow fee revenues, they've paid it. The 187, is that just what was calculated, or of this, the fuel flow fees, are they all paid? Or it's just a revenue that you all record?
That should be already paid. The aircraft parking is separate. This is what's being charged to Mr. Barker at the moment.
Okay, so the 187,000, they've already paid that?
Yes.
The $5,000 that you see there for the aircraft parking, we'll start charging for, we had a lot of, our letter says relics, and people get upset when we send the letter, because the ordinance actually read like that. And now we need to, that's the ordinance, and we have to quote the exact way the ordinance says. My airplane is not a relic. Yeah, but you still have to pay.
Yeah, it's a relic, it's been around for a long time, and it's working.
Yeah. So that's, we get into those little things.
Classic.
Yeah. The rest are just rent and
Is Jetsel still here?
yes, we're still working on that. Yeah.
Okay. So So that covers that. Now, you want to talk about?
The next item, Mr. Chairman, on the staff report is the progress on taxiway, Echo widening and the reconstruction cargo aviation phase 10. That's the old project, and we're about to finalize all the punch list items, and we're gonna close it out, and submit all the paperwork to FAA, and get our closeout report, and that will be the end of that project.
Of Echo.
The taxiway Echo. The next item that you're gonna, the motion, I'll explain that later, but that's our next project. But this one is phase 10, our next project is phase 11, that's in the next item. But
Okay.
that's, we're closing down and closing out, and that's the project that basically will
Any
forward.
questions on Echo before we move on to the motions? That's committee? Thank you. Okay, so item 6 is a motion. It reads, consider a recommendation to mayor and city council to approve the award to a construction contract to the lowest bidder, Ream Construction Incorporated, Mission, Texas, in the amount of $8,885,688.75, which includes the base bid and alternate number 1 for the Laredo International Airport Cargo Apron Phase 11 reconstruction with a construction contract time of 300 calendar days, and authorizing the city manager to execute all relevant contract documents contingent upon the receipt and approval of insurance and bond documents. That's very important, right? The completion date for the project is scheduled for November of 2019. Funding is available in the Airport Construction Fund, FAA grants number 85 and 87. 90% of that is federal funds with 10% local match. Nada?
Mr. Chairman, this one is part of 2 grants. Grant 85 was a $3.6 million. They gave us 1.7 million in entitlement and 2 million discretionary fund. But later on, we got another grant, all discretionary, for $7.5 million. So the total grant that we received for 85 and 87, it's about $12 million. With this is the first award that we're doing to Ring Construction regarding those grants. Because of the additional funding, later on, we're gonna come back to you and to the city council, and we are going to award a change order in the amount of $2 million because of the additional funding.
Okay.
So
To
that-
Ream.
To Ring, yes.
And that's because.
The additional funding that we got from FAA, so.
But that covers another phase of it?
That
or-
covers another little phase,
So more work.
more work. So we're going to award this $8.9 million, and then later on we'll come back. We're working on all the little details and.
Were they alternates that were not within the budget?
No,
Or-
this one is the base bid and the alternate.
Right.
We are awarding that.
But I'm saying that future change orders based
It's
on
good.
part of the scope that you
Right,
have, we can afford right now? or-
what we're doing with additional scope of work, we are increasing the area that is going to be reconstructed. Phase 11, the $8.9 million is gonna be this is the base bid, and these 3 islands are going to be reconstructed. So that's the $8.9 million. The additional $2 million, the phase 11 starts here, we're gonna go here, we're gonna go south. So it's gonna be like another little square. $2 million, we don't get a lot of concrete.
Right.
That's what we need, grants like 7, 8 million, that kind of thing. So the next change order that you're going to see is change order number 1. It's gonna be for about $2 million. It's gonna be this little
But
square.
somewhere in your master plan or in all of this, the grant applications, that was identified, like eventually we're gonna get to that spot.
That is correct. This one is for phase 11, this was supposed to be phase 13 and phase 14. Because of the additional funding that FAA gave us, now this little area, I call it little, it's not little, but compared to the $7, $8 million.
Put your fingers
This is
together.
this is going to be phase 12, and we're gonna rebrand or rename. This is gonna be phase 13, and this is gonna be phase 14 now. And we're working with FAA to give us an additional $20 million. And the next thing that we're doing, we would like to expand also our ramp to the north. That's that $25 million that we're working with FAA.
So that's gonna sit right about 25% of the contract, of the original.
Yeah,
contract
we
amount.
are within the 25%, yes.
Okay, yeah, that's where I was going.
No, we already checked that.
It's
By
like
law-
right
by law-
at 25%.
Right, by law, we cannot exceed 25% unless the contractor agrees to. If the contractor agrees to the unit prices, that's not a problem. That's what the local government will say.
And I think another exception might be if there's some, like in this case, an
Mhm.
FAA reg that was skipped, and we gotta do it, and
Right, and we have the
Tweak the
additional funding, if we don't
25%,
do it, we lose the additional funding, so we have to do it.
something, yeah, by law.
So by the same time, so the next, we also need to present to you the construction administration from our consultant, RSNH. That's the normal procedure. We're with the construction contract, then we're with our consultant, the construction administration pay, and then we're gonna do the change order.
Okay, busy.
I don't know if you have it, yes, we're gonna be very. Any questions?
Any questions from the committee?
Staff is recommending.
We have a motion by Mr. Bueno,
Second.
second by Councilman Rodriguez. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Thank you. All right.
Motion to adjourn.
Before we close out, and there's a motion on the floor, the only items we're bringing back is the request by Ms. Villarreal on the column for the report.
Right.
Oh, and also the, I'm sorry, that's just to tweak the report.
Right.
An item to bring back
How many
is
months behind
Right.
on it?
We had the number of months and the monthly rent.
Mario and Liz's report on.
Oh, and the
Elsa,
Allegiant,
I'm sorry.
Allegiant, Mario and Elsie,
Yes,
yes.
that's the one that
Yeah,
I was
we
thinking.
need to add that to the staff report. Okay.
Okay, there's a motion, Ms. Villarreal,
A second?
second, Mr. Trevino, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Thank you. Meeting's adjourned.